This is A-Train from Valken Sports, and in this Tech Vault, I'd like to go step by step on the overview, operation, maintenance, and assembly or disassembly of your Valken Whiskey Tango or Foxtrot paintball marker. Now for some of you, this may be your first paintball marker, and that's completely cool. You should be able to watch this and get a good overview of how your paintball marker works and how to keep it shooting for a very long time. For others that are just looking for technical portions, in the description of this video I will leave some timestamps for you to jump to the specific sections that you wish to reference. You can reference this video as many times as you need to, and if you get completely stuck, do not hesitate to contact us directly at valken.com. Now, out of the box, you will notice that the Whiskey and Tango and Foxtrot are packaged in a padded rifle bag. This is not only a safe and socially appropriate way to carry your marker to the field without alarming those in the community who don't play paintball, but we thought it was pretty cool. I'm not aware of any other markers on the market that come with their own padded rifle bag. And when you open the bag, you will see that it stores not only your marker, but also an 8-inch ported barrel, a parts and tools kit, and your warranty and manual. The Whiskey, Tango, and Foxtrot markers are semi-automatic, which means they're capable of firing a paintball for once every time you pull the trigger, or as fast as you can pull the trigger. Kit, you will notice a bright rubber piece. This is your barrel blocking device, and this barrel blocking device is easily installed in the front of your marker in the barrel here. When this marker is being transported or headed to the field for the normal use of play, you only remove it when you're ready to fire in a safe area. Do not lose this piece, as you'll not be able to play at a field without a barrel blocking device or one similar. Paintballs are prepped and fed through a loader system, which can be attached to the clamping feed neck on your marker, which is right here. By simply opening the tension on the clamp, and you place the feed tube of the loader into your feed neck. Now if it doesn't fit all the way, or it's a little too tight, you can use your 1/16 hex key or Allen key, turn it counterclockwise to loosen up until the feed tube bottoms out, which is right about there, and close your tension clamp. The clamp should be tight enough to secure the loader, but not so tight as to change the shape of the tube or pinch off the flow of paintballs. Now it's time to air up your marker. You have a few choices with this series of marker because they operate mechanically with high pressure air or CO2. I will link to a video that pretty much can explain air and propellant a little bit better for those of you that need this broken down. Now before you install any propellant, you should have your barrel blocking device in, your firing safety switch in the safe position, and pull the hammer back into the back position. Locate the air service adapter, or ASA, and grab your air bottle. And I'm going to use this little air bottle. And do not force it in, but put it in nice and straight, and turn it to the right or clockwise to tighten into the ASA until you have the regulator on the bottle all the way in. And sometimes you'll hear a little psst. That means the air has cycled through. When this is done, your marker is aired up and ready to chronograph. Add some paintballs to your loader and let's go adjust the velocity. You're almost ready to play. The only thing we have left to do is to adjust the velocity of the paintballs coming out of this marker. Now paintballs should not be shot at a speed of over 300 feet per second, and I found that this series of markers shoots best around 275 to 285 feet per second. So you'll head out to the paintball field and ask where their chronograph is, and a referee should usually take you there, or one of the staff, and you can take the largest of the 3 hex keys with you. Right here is the velocity adjuster screw, and this is where you're going to dial in. So you'll shoot a couple paintballs over to get a reading on the chronograph, and it'll tell you. Now if you're too low, you can just set your hex key in the velocity adjuster. It'll fit right in there, and you can turn counterclockwise or to the left, and that will slowly increase. You can just give it little quarter turns, fire a couple more shots, and see what those read at, and turn it up till you get your desired velocity. If you're shooting too high, you absolutely want to turn that clockwise or to the right and get that velocity down to a safe velocity. When you've got it all set up, take your tool, put it back in your toolkit, and you're ready to go play. Before you begin any maintenance on your paintball marker, you're going to want to make sure you're in a clean area. You have a paper towel or a microfiber handy. All your tools and parts that you're going to need. The air and propellant removed from the marker. You're going to want to make sure all the paintballs are out of the marker. You're going to want to make sure that your breech is clear of any paintballs. Do that in a safe area. And once it is degassed, you're ready to do service. The first thing you're going to want to do is pull your bolts into the rear position. And you're going to do this to expose the clear factory hammer bolt O-ring, which is right there. And to lubricate that, you use your paintball approved Gold Cup oil, which you can find at your local Valken dealer or on Valken.com. And you apply 2 drops right to that O-ring right there. You can push your safety off, cycle that in. Now on the ASA or air service adapter, I'll put it up on the screen, but there's a service hole in the entry point here. And you'll want to take, again, your gun oil and put 3 to 4 drops right down that service hole. Now, with your bolt in the back position, you install your air or propellant, your CO2 or HPA. You, in a safe area with your barrel blocking device on, you cycle the air through about 3 times. So just pull the trigger 3 times, point it away in a safe area, and you have just lubricated the internals of your paintball marker. Now to change the barrel, it's very simple. Your barrel is a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey system. So you can grab the barrel firmly, turn it counterclockwise or to the left, and it comes right off. To remove or adjust the iron sights, you'll take your small hex key and insert it right here onto the locking screw and turn counterclockwise to the left just until it's loose for a little bit. And you can actually remove your front iron sight. To remove the rear iron sight, you can take this tightening screw, turn it to the left for loose, right for tight. You can either set it where you would like to set it to adjust it, or you can remove the entire unit. To remove your front foregrip, all you need to do is merely loosen up the tightening screw at the bottom and take it off. To clean the breech area of your marker, you'll want to throw the switch that locks down your feed neck forward, and that's loose, and you can just grab your feed neck and remove that unit. Give it a good cleaning with paper towel or your microfiber, or even if you have a swab to get in there. Anything you use in there is fine. Just make sure it's dry before you put it back on. Now, if you've been out there for a while playing in some heavy and dirty conditions, or your paintball marker is not firing properly, it may be time for a little bit more thorough of a cleaning. And for this, you're going to want to locate the bolts. There are actually 5 on the frame that hold the body together, and we're going to need to get in here. So we'll use the middle hex key, the middle-sized hex key. We can locate these bolts. Just make sure you don't lose these. You're going to need them. They actually help hold the paintball marker together. Once you've removed the grip frame, there's one more bolt holding the body together, and it's time to get rid of that one. And if the nut happens to come out, that's fine. Again, just thread it onto the bolt and keep it for later use. You can now remove the rubber cocking knob cover and pull the halves apart. Now that we have the internals of the marker exposed, we want to be very careful not to lose any parts and start and finish with the same number. So we're going to take one of our shells and move it aside. We won't need that right now. And let's get into the internals. You can remove the stock and set it back over here. Your O-ring, your pin and spring, you can take this rod out of the hammer. Rod. You can remove the barrel thread adapter, the ball detent, and this little elbow here. You can remove the bolt, which just slides off of the valve. And to remove the valve, you turn the marker halves over. You can take your middle hex key and remove the valve by loosening the housing screws. Now is a great time to take advantage of the fact that you have your marker ready to clean from the inside out. And you'll want to give both halves of the body a thorough cleaning so that there's no debris, dust, dirt, paint, paintball shell, anything that would wear down the working parts of your paintball marker. The cleaner this is, the better it's going to shoot. You don't need any detergents, just a lint-free or debris-free cloth like a microfiber or paper towel. Can get this all cleaned out. You can use some cotton swabs if you need to get into the corners, but give it a thorough cleaning. Even a drop of oil just in the body shell tube here would not hurt it. And also start cleaning the parts. So inspect your valve and your bolt guide and just give them a good thorough wipe down. Also, you'll want to inspect your bolt. This is a great time to inspect the bolt for any damage, and also inspect your bolt O-ring. What you're looking for is a break, a tear, really heavy nick, and if it needs replaced, just give it a little squeeze. Roll your finger over, and you can take it off and replace it with a new one from your kit. When it looks good, take 1 drop of your paintball approved gun lubricant, give it a drop, work it in lightly with your fingers, and that is lubed and cleaned. It's also a good time to inspect your hammer and your hammer bolt O-ring, and you're looking for any nicks, scars, tears, anything like that. But this front O-ring, and again, you can give that a drop if you need to. And now that everything's been cleaned, you can and inspected, we'll just check the barrel thread adapter. Yep, that's very clean. Now that everything's been cleaned and inspected, anything that needs replaced is replaced. We are going to reassemble the marker. So there's a little guide pin hole right there on the back half of the body, and on your valve there is a guide pin. So the guide pin goes in the guide pin hole. It's very simple. It means everything will line up. There's also a channel in here, and you'll know that it's in correctly when the bolt is facing forward. Flip the body half over, and because you were working in a clean area, you will still have your valve screws that secure this to the body. So tighten those up by turning them right or clockwise with your middle hex key. You shouldn't have to force them, twist them, or anything else. They line right up beautifully. Just get those nice and snug. Great, now your valve's installed. You want to insert your bolt. You can put your barrel thread adapter right into the channel. It'll fit snugly in there. And now is also a good time to inspect your ball detent. Your ball detent should be free of wear. And if it's worn on one side, it's very simple to flip over. It's an ingenious design. You can put your elbow back in with the notch facing down. You can put your hammer assembly in with the cocking pin facing up And there's the small hole for the rod, which should face, it's right here, and that should face up, as well as the hole for the rod on your bolt should face up. You can insert the rod into the hammer and the bolt. It should just rest in a channel up here very nicely. Push your bolt forward with your finger on the detent. That usually helps it. Next, you'll take your spring, your pin, and your guide O-ring, and insert the spring into the back of the hammer. Now at this point you have a decision. We can reinstall the crane stock, or we can make a shorter profile, and in your parts kit is a standard SW1 Blackhawk back cap. So if you'd like to have a shorter profile, you can just basically set this in the channel in the back, whichever backstock you'd like to use. So that's why that part is in there. It allows you some customization of the marker, but I think it looks cool to have the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot crane stock. So I'm going to take this pin, insert it in the hole in the stock, gently press forward and rest that in the channel here. Now when you're reinstalling the crane stock, I always like to give the back end of the marker here a little boost, just because of the shape, and I don't want the internals to pop out. So a neat trick I found is to actually take the stock back cap and make a little jack. That's pretty cool. So I can take my front half and I will put the body halves together, just line them up, and then put my cocking lever cover and begin to reassemble the marker. Now that the body is assembled, it's time to reinstall the grip frame. We can merely just line this up, and the safety pin goes near this notch. You can just press it forward. Everything should line up with these holes. And remember, the trigger frame and grip frame has the square bolt on the back. So you can put that in first, use your medium hex key, and snug those down. If for some reason you feel you need to get into the barrel shroud in any way to clean it out or service it, here's how to do it. You can take this back cap and turn it counterclockwise or to the left to loosen it up. After a few turns, you'll notice the shroud comes apart in halves. Now if your shroud isn't lining up with your marker exactly the way you'd like to, you can actually adjust this using this front cap. On the front cap, there's a small set screw that is the correct size for your smallest hex key. You can take this, loosen up this set screw, adjust where you'd like that cap to be, and tighten it back down. Just a little snug until it catches. Now you can take your halves, put them in the front, and then the back, the front, and then the back. Turn the back cap. You can insert your barrel into the barrel thread adapter. Turn it right or clockwise to tighten it down, and you'll see it lines up very, very nicely. Now from here you can reinstall or add new components as you see fit, and your Valken Whiskey Tango or Foxtrot marker is ready to go.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on social media, and you'll get the exclusives from Valken Sports.